Hello and welcome to our Irish Derby weekend preview. Today we will be previewing the Irish Derby, as mentioned, the Pretty Polly Stakes, and then we'll cross the channel to the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud, which is a fantastic little race for only 5 horses running. But let's get back to the Curragh, where on Saturday the Irish Pretty Polly Stakes is taking place. And at the beginning of the betting, we've got Kalpana, the 11-8 favourite, Whirl at 2-1, who was so close in the Epps Smokes. Sylvie, is 12-1. We might have taken the long way 12s, Higher Leaves 14s, Yansis 22s, and Magical Hopes 25s. So let's begin with the favourite, Kalpana. When the market opened, we actually had Whirl as favourite. Both of us disagreed on that. Are you more comfortable now with how the market has settled?
Yes, it was all wrong, wasn't it? Kalpana should be and now is clear favourite for this. She must have a massive chance. As you know, I'm pretty lukewarm normally when horses get down to prices like even money or what can you get now, 6-5. But I'm very tempted to say she's almost still value. She's by far the most likely winner.
Yeah. Course and distance third in the Tassos Gold Cup. It's pretty bomb-proof form. What isn't so bomb-proof, I think, is the form of the 3-year-old fillies in general. And we've got two contenders from the Oaks here, Whirl, and we might take it the long way. How do you think they're going to get on against the older horses?
Well, Whirl's second favourite, best 2-1. This is the one clearly with the chance. Also the one who clearly, from what she's shown, doesn't matter what ground does. If it does turn a bit faster, that's no problem at all. And it's Aidan O'Brien. So whoever he has for the Irish, the Irish Group Ones, is going to be what he thinks is going to give him a huge chance. So she's a big threat. I just don't believe that she's as good as Kalpana. If she beats Kalpana, then we've got, a new superstar filly, haven't we? Despite the fact that she couldn't beat her stablemate in the Oaks. But with that in mind, and I do like the drop down to 10 furlongs for her. Yeah, I still think she's got a bit to prove. I don't like. We might take the long way on the slightly faster ground. She was too far behind, and seeing her beat Kalpana is a huge leap of faith.
Yes, yeah, agreed. Even seeing her overturn the form of Whirl, I think I don't see why the step down and trip is going to bring that about. So a few days ago, before the final decks were made, we put up Sylvie at 25s, 3 places. That looks good now. How do you feel about 12, 14-1, 2 places?
If there were still 3 places, we're now 7 horses and no bookmakers offering that, I'd still say, if I didn't know that she was 14-1 a few days ago, I would still say that was a really good price for each way with the 3 places. But with the 3rd place gone, this filly is really good. She was very close to winning the Prix last year. And last time out, she ran a really good seasonal reappearance, form that ties in very closely with Goliath, who they beat had the same horse behind them a few weeks apart. Goliath, of course, contested the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud. I think she's really good. I don't think she's as good as Kalpana. I do see her in the 3. It's not impossible, but yeah, the each way angle's just kind of gone, hasn't it, with the 2 places.
Yeah. High Leaves is next in the betting at 14-1. Off the back of Royal Ascot win to Henry de Bromhead, do you give this mare a chance?
No, tried to get there, but couldn't. She needs to make a huge leap forward. A really huge leap forward into stardom, as it were, and I don't see it.
Yeah, cool. And then the 2 of the outsiders, Yansis and Magical Hope, they need to improve about £15 to be in contention here. Do their prices reflect that chance?
Again, you'd be getting into semi-interesting territory in a way. Yansis won her first 3 races, looked really good, and then hasn't quite kicked on. This step up in trip might unlock that bit of improvement and bring her back to the really good filly that she looked like.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't know with 2 places. I don't get there. And Magical Hope won the Munster Oaks, won it well last time, but I have absolutely no idea what she beat. And again, it's too much a leap to say. And 7 horse field. No, there's no appeal for me. These 2.
Okay, So summarise the Pretty Polly then. Probably the strongest shout is for the favourite at 6-5, which is a turn up for the books. But yeah, with only the 7 horses, obviously the each way market has been decimated, and Kalpana looks a class horse. It's hard to look away from that. We'll then move on to Sunday, and we'll focus on probably the big race of the weekend, the Irish Derby. It historically would probably be framed as a classic renewal, with the 1, 2, 3 from the Epsom Derby turning up here. However, there isn't the same buzz. The entire narrative around the race seems to be how poor the undercard is at the Curragh. But focusing in on the horses, we do have the winner Lambourn, who I think you can get even money about. Next in the betting is Tennessee Stud 9-2, Green Impact at 7s, Pride of Aris 8, Lazy Griff, who was the second at 14s, Puppet Master 16, Serious Contender 33s, Price 66s, Dinnerden. You can also get 66s in one place, and Shackleton's the outsider at 100s. So we put up Sir Dinnerden a couple of days ago. I apologize if I'm pronouncing that terribly. At 100s, we'll start with him. He's now into 66s, 3 places. Is he still attractive?
Yeah, put up 100 just because, like you said, this is a classic. It is a classic race for the theory of, but this doesn't feel like a classic. And I, like many people, am very questionable about what was a strange derby. So we've got the 1, 2, 3. I just did want to, take a swing at one with a huge price and his form behind Amelot. Amelot is a really clearly a top-class 3-year-old colt. I just thought he might sneak in. I also thought this race might cut up, but in fact, Aidan's declared the whole battalion at all 5. So it's a bigger field. I think Sir Dinnerden will run well, and I'd be surprised if he wasn't 4th, 5th, 6th. Whether he can get in the 3rd, I'm not sure. But 100 to 1, you were getting 20 to 1 the place. 66 as they've taken a third of that away. Lukewarm. I'd probably go in there if I hadn't gone in before, just because I think he's still completely unexposed. He's only had 1 run this season. We don't know where his ceiling lies. So that's a wild outsider play that we put up at 100s.
Yeah. So heading back to the front of the market, we've got Lambourn at about evens. He won the Epsom Derby, almost as he liked, kicking away from the field, coming around the bend. And despite all the crabbing, there is still potential upside in this horse. Even money, what do you think of that?
This is one of those even monies I don't want to go near. As I say, I'm just not convinced about the Derby. The Chester 1-2 finished Epsom 1-2. Is that because they were the star 3-year-olds that happened to be both in the Chester race? Or I don't know. I need to see it done again. I would not go in on this horse on even money until away from strange races round bends with strange undulations. Obviously there's a bend here, but different course. I need to see it again, and I wouldn't go anywhere near even money on
Okay. Tennessee Stud 9-2, same argument.
Sorry, say that again. Just missed that.
Tennessee Stud at 9-2, is it the same argument?
Well, this one is a bit more interesting than Lazy Griff, who's a bigger price, because Tennessee Stud was one who made up a decent amount of ground in the Derby. He came from somewhere, and I could see him therefore stepping forward again. So put it this way, if you said to me I had to bet either horse, Tennessee Stud or Lambourn, the prices, I bet Tennessee Stud. I don't think I will. It's just a little short, sort of 4-1 territory, but he's a live threat.
Yeah. Green Impact was a horse we were keen on for the Guineas. At 7s for the Irish Derby with a step up in trip, do you think that'll suit, and do you think 7s is good value?
It's kind of almost priced as if he will improve the step up in trip. That's what worries. But he was a very good 2-year-old. Trainer really believes in him. Mile maybe was too short. Improved to win the step up to 9 furlongs. Now comes the quantum leap to up to 12 furlongs. He could improve. No more than that. No could. 7-1 in a 10-horse field. with, you know, 2 or 3 or 4 other contenders. Not really.
Yeah. He's out of the Galileo mare, so there'll be stamina on that side of the pedigree. Pride of Iris is next in the betting at 8-1. Went off probably about 4s, 9-2 in the Epsom Derby. Considerably bigger price here, given how poorly he ran and how poorly the entire Dante form has been working out. But 8-1 is quite enticing if you're willing to rule out the Epsom run.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's all back to forgive a horse. The cliche "forgive a horse one bad run" can be sort of doubled, can't it, at Epsom, in the Epsom Derby? So lightly raced, looked really good on his only 2 starts. To win a Dante on your second start, you know, this is sort of Desert Crown economics territory, and they were really, really good horses. Economics probably still is, but that's another matter. I wouldn't put anyone off taking a fly with Pride of Alice at 8-1. That's the chance that he'll flop again, or it was not that good on the Dante form, which admittedly doesn't look great. That's all priced in there. 8-1 is good.
Okay, interesting. And then already spoken or touched on Lazy Griff. Any of the Aidan O'Brien outsiders?
In one word, no. The only one you might just think about is Puppet Master, in that this race was his intended target, whereas I think we can be sure that the battalions of Serious Contender and Shackleton, who weren't good enough at Ascot, have come here as an afterthought to form part of the army, part of Lambourn's Guard of Honour, I don't know what. Maybe only Puppet Master, but I would much rather go with something like Pride of Aris, which looks much classier, or Green Impact at the front of the market.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Pride of Aris, then probably the strongest selection for the Irish Derby, with a positive word to Sidinadin. And again, do head over to our X site to subscribe there, because if you did, you might have 100s, and that's probably going to be all but gone by the off. The final race that we will look at is, as mentioned, a very hotly contested 5-runner race with 3 of probably the best middle distance horses, or definitely the best middle distance horses in Europe running. We've got Calandagan, who for me is a surprisingly short 5-4 favourite. We've got Aventure, the Arc second at 5-2, Goliath, last year's King George run at 5-2, Iracine at 16s, and Yonko at 22s. 5-4 about a horse that doesn't necessarily like to win against 2 very, very strong middle distance stayers. That's too short, isn't
it? It is. But I said but because on the odds checker line, they've only fed in a few bookmakers. They haven't fed in Paddy Power, who still have it in their anti-post book. So you can get 7-4 on Calandagan. And when I saw that priced up, I did think, I thought he'd be shorter. Now, a horse that's got 2, 2, 2, and 2 for his last 4 wins wouldn't scream out at me as a bet. Certainly not 5-4, and I wouldn't 7-4, because this is a really, really elite field. But, you know, on the basis of those 4 runs all look like top-class Group 1 form. And so I get him at the front of the market, but yeah, I won't play him. There's just a little quirkiness about this horse, and yeah, 2-2-2-2. Why take a short price on it being a 1 this time?
Yeah. Okay. Aventure, one of the bigger ones at 5-2. Are you more interested in her than Goliath?
Yeah, I think she's got a huge chance. You can get 5-2 on her. I think it's close to being a bet that's value, even though this is a really tough field. Her last year form just looks so good. Towards the end, she was beaten twice by 3/4 of a length and a length and a quarter or a length and a half by Blue Stocking in the Prix and the Arc. Those are 2 bits of absolutely top class form. Now, I thought she probably needed 12 furlongs and soft ground, but she's come back and won twice this season on 10 furlongs, and when it hasn't been that soft. So now she's back up to 12. I expect her to improve again, and she's got a huge chance. I think better than 5-2.
Okay, perfect. Oh yeah, Goliath. So he shot to the top of the ratings in Europe last year after his King George win. that was arguably a race that fell into his lap slightly when they went a very strong pace at the front end. I remember Ascot described the ground as good to firm, whereas the times on the rest of the day didn't necessarily translate to that. So it's possible they went off too fast, but Goliath being a strong stayer, it suited him. 5-2 in what could be a tactically run affair about a horse that potentially doesn't have the best turn of foot. It's a bit short, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm against him. Coming back to what could turn tactically, I mean, I noticed that I think all these 5 horses, to show their best form, probably want to come from behind.
Yeah.
Pace. Well, how does that happen if there isn't a pacemaker in the field? Last time he led Goliath, if not all the way, certainly most of the way, and sort of just power away from him, right? Yeah. I think they're going to have to do that again with him. They'll have to make it a proper test. Like you look back in the King George, look what a magnificent victory that was. But it was a furious pace, and he was sat right off it. It was just the ideal setup. At that price, I don't quite see him getting the ideal setup here. In terms of this season's form, though, after 2 dull runs in the Far East, he was back to form with a win last time, and on a line through a horse called Grand Stars, who Aventure beat as well in a different race this spring. They're not far apart, those two. So, but I think Aventure will improve. For going back to 12 furlongs, I think she's more versatile than Goliath.
Yeah. Okay. And then obviously 5 runner fields are only 2 places. Iracine or Yonko at 16s and 22s. Are they of any interest?
What's mostly of interest is the fact you realise this is a mare and 4 geldings. There's not a single entire colt in this. There's nothing about the race conditions that says entire colts can't enter, but with 4 excellent geldings in it. It's totally strange. Iracine is the 8-year-old, though, so you can't believe he's improving. I think he needs soft ground to show his best. He was 4th, perhaps a little unlucky 4th in the Champion Stakes at Ascot, but that was his beloved soft ground. Back to 12, no problem. I think he's long in the tooth, and I don't do it. The one wild card, and it's wild in 2 different ways, is Junker. Now, it's the same colours as Aventure. It's owned by the Wertheimer Frère brothers. What I don't know is whether Junker's in here to not give himself the best chance of winning, which is to come from well off it, but to make the play, make a proper pace for Aventure. Or whether he's running his own merits. I don't know the answer to that. A couple of people on Twitter I noticed put up Aventure saying, yeah, Junker will make it for. I hadn't come to this race thinking that was going to be the case. He's a Group 1 winner, and just occasionally he can show amazing turn of foot off even a slowish pace and win a Group 1. He did it in Hong Kong. Problem is he's been really dull his last 2. If this guy goes to something crazy like 30, 40, 50 to 1 on Betfair, which I could possibly see because I can't see him attracting much money, I'll probably put a couple of quid on him.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Yonko at the side, as he drifts, pay attention to it. And then Aventure at the front of the market at 5-2 is of particular interest as well. So, yeah, that is a wrap. Quite a sharp run through for the pair of us for the big 3 Group 1s over the weekend. Thank you very much for joining. Please like, subscribe, and again, head over to our Twitter page or X page to get the latest articles and what have you. So, yeah, thank you very much, everyone, and we will speak to you again soon for a Coral Eclipse preview, no doubt. Yep.
I've got the one final thing. I just wanted to apologise for any background noise. I'm in a hotel lobby after my train has broken down in France. It's all been a bit crazy here.
Yeah. We've managed to find some time to record this. It looks probably odds against at some stage. So, yeah, well done to the hotel for letting the strange man in with his camera. All right. Thanks again, everyone, and we will speak to you soon. Bye.